3, 2. Welcome to a special edition of Left Coast Live. I am your host, Dieter McBusiness, joined as always by my co-host, Stateless Patriot Stat Pat from the Central Valley, California, baby. Here we are, Stat Pat. We did it. We were right. Our calls for change have been answered. Step 1 is complete.
Yeah.
Biden is dropping out. Step 2, Obama needs to supervise the open convention. We do not know if that's going to happen, but we do know that it is going to be an open convention. Whether or not it's going to be an authentic open convention, we don't know yet. What was your initial reaction? I did a video earlier today, so this is your opportunity. Give us your initial reaction to the news.
I mean, just utter relief. If I'm being totally honest, I was at the gym, so like they have Fox News going, they got MSNBC going, and they they got CNN as well, but that TV wasn't on this time. They were already covering like certain things about like whatever it is, what is the Biden campaign thinking at the moment, and how is the convention need to go, this and that. Like, then all of a sudden, both TVs, breaking news, Biden announces he's stepping down from the race. He's dropping out of the race. And then not long after that, because like everybody started reacting. Like I tuned into Sam Cedar, I tuned into David Dole, tuned into Vosh. Everybody was giving their reactions and whatnot. Secular talk, highly obviously. And then not long after, like it's announced because he put out a statement like just going over like, hey, I'm dropping out of the race on Twitter, and then not long after he announced like I am endorsing Kamala Harris for president. I picked her for a reason, and then not long after the Clintons endorsed. So yeah, even though it's in the throes of like a really like intense workout, first one in 3 weeks. I was still like, damn, this is so good. Like, not only do I finally get to like put in like a decent workout in for a few hours, but like the best news I could have hoped for, like it gets released the same day because we weren't expecting an announcement until tomorrow. So like this is very, very big, and I'm super happy. Like I feel vindicated because we kind of predicted this. Like there's no way he has to drop out. Like you said during the debate, this may be a blessing in disguise. Maybe it gets so bad that they have to pressure him to get out. Lo and behold, here we are.
The historical record on YouTube is that we were talking about this back in February. I had
Yes.
it on a WhatsApp chain as well with old friends of mine, and we were on this a lot earlier than most people. There were others out there, particularly when the debate debacle happened, which revitalized the possibility of replacing Biden. People started to jump on that and say things like what we said at the time was that maybe this is a blessing. Let's find the silver
Yeah.
lining.
Yeah.
But now that it's actually here, it's a relief. I had a feeling that they were going to do it. It was getting closer. I didn't know if this prediction that it was going to happen this weekend was going to be true, but it's great that they did it when they did because they want people talking about it at their summer Sunday afternoon barbecues. They want people talking about it. They want people being like you are right now, relieved. Because
Yeah.
it was stressing everybody out. It was just this exhausting thing. It's been hanging over the country's head like a dark cloud for 4 years. For 4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I saw an old Facebook post I made back when Biden got the nomination in 2020, and it was basically saying, I think he's going to lose to Trump. And of course, I was wrong, but the point remains that I knew his age was an issue then. I said, I have a family member who has dementia and is around the same age as Biden, and I know
Yeah.
that he's got dementia. I
Yeah.
knew then that he had dementia, and I know now that he
It,
has
it, it,
dementia.
it definitely affects like people in a more, I guess, on a much deeper level, especially like if you have family members that are sundowning, who are
Right.
in the early stages of dementia, or
A lot
like
of
just
people don't
aren't
even
as
know what
sharp
that
as it.
means, that term sundowning. A lot of people don't even know what that term sundowning means. For
Yeah.
those who don't know, it means once the sun goes down, the person is pretty much useless.
Yeah.
They can't really compute. They can't see. The word is sequencing. They can't get from A to B to C to D.
Yeah.
They know what A and D are, but they don't know how B and C are.
Yeah.
Like if you give them a task.
Right.
So it's really tough for
Charlie Martini says relief
a
is
person to
accurate.
deal with responsibility. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So there's just a little bit of a delay. Charlie Martini says relief is accurate. Things are looking up, Jack. couldn't agree more. Yeah, yeah. No. I mean, we saw it during the debate. Like it was far past Joe Biden's bedtime. So that's kind of like that definitely played into it. I mean, could he have been as energized and bombastic for at least to an extent as his appearance after the debate, because we saw like after the debate he had all sorts of energy and whatnot, talking to that whole massive crowd post debate and whatnot, and at recent like campaign events, but like. I mean, the damage was done. Like, honestly, if you can't get the job done, past sundown, then like, yeah, there's I mean, we need someone who's like completely, like fully, entirely there and present, and on point, like pretty much at all times. And I'm just so damn happy that the Democrats finally grew a spine and a brain too. Like it was smart to not just convince him to step down, but keep him as president. And of course, like next in line is Kamala Harris. So like it makes sense for her to be next in line and for her to receive the endorsements of the biggest names of the party. Not sure if Obama's endorsed her yet, but I would assume that would happen soon. Because like I guess the next step is just how the convention plays out.
Well, let's talk about delay. Your fucking internet.
Oh, there we go.
Let's talk about that stat, Pat. But let's go to a little bit of. We'll get into that in a minute. But let's get into.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, it's still acting up, even though I cleared some shit.
If he was even going to make it at that point, I think no matter who they pick, I think Trump is going to win. Landslide.
I feel like he did the right thing because is getting older, but why wait till now?
I hope that she actually does something this time because I feel like as a vice president, she was on the back line too much and then popped out when she wanted voters to come.
Hello, New Socialist Era. Thanks for joining.
And I will add,
Damn it. Why now? God damn it.
The big news so far in terms of the endorsements is that we got the Clintons and Clyburn have all Joe Biden. So the big question is, are they just going to let Kamala Harris have it, or are they going to have a real open convention? The big name who hasn't endorsed Kamala Harris yet is Barack Obama. If you go over to Fox News, which we will in a second, then you'll see that they're focusing in on Obama's endorsement, which had because I think he hopefully has our idea of wanting to hold on, organizing the
Yeah.
She does. It will help strengthen.
This guy's actually this is
some of the names that we've already.
Democrat.
Somebody's polling better
really?
than Kamala Harris is against intent and intentional and serious about trying to win this election. Now, your question,
God,
Martha. I think in budgets, their success in creating jobs, their success in educating kids and getting people when he ran for president. So I
Damn it. This is ridiculous. I'm
think
so tired of
Demo-
this. Yeah, the internet, it's not fucking... Wow, that's great. Son of a bitch, dude. This is so fucking frustrating. I'm so tired of this. I can't wait to get a new fucking computer. Motherfuck. Jesus fucking Christ. It's going so fucking slow. Come on, you fuck. Fucking ridiculous.
Immediately they did. I mean, you know that I just, like, my mind is so baffled.
Can't do shit. This is beyond frustrating.
Data-driven approach to who the
Immediately
nominee should be, not just giving it to Kamala Harris.
upon Joe Biden saying today that he's withdrawn, you had this memo go out basically, and it's a fake memo, but it's like everyone now is supposed to say this: Donald Trump is the oldest nominee for president in American history. But wait, figure out a way to, get their own house in order. I do remember this though. Early in the campaign, in the primary, Nikki Haley said the first party to retire their 80-year-old nominee will win the election. Now, Trump goes on to win the nomination. He's got, a lot of enthusiasm behind him. Bruce Melman had a chart today, and little thing that he does that showed the enthusiasm and the minuscule number of Democrats who wanted to vote for Biden. So to Britt's point, this is a good opportunity, I guess, for the Democrats to say, okay, we've got a chance to unfreeze the donations that had stopped coming in. We have a chance to get our younger people excited and to we have a real fight on our hands. And at least, I guess they would say, this action today by Biden gives them a fighting chance. Now, on the debate,
Even conservatives acknowledge it.
why did Biden ask for that he was winning?
Yeah, I think conservatives are worried about this happening. I think conservatives wanted Biden to stay in.
Yeah,
I think that the Trump people are like, oh, fuck, we're going to have to completely reorganize our notes here, our strategy on what we're going to do, because it's a completely different person. And Kamala hasn't been that involved. all she's been involved in really is women's rights and some stuff to do with criminal justice, I guess, which is ironic because she was AG.
Yeah, New Socialist Era says, I have this
Against Trump.
unshakable
So
sense
he
of
says,
dread
I need a debate.
after Biden dropped out. Give me some hopium. You don't have a decaying genocidal corpse at the helm of the Democratic ticket anymore, so there's that. And the fact that like Republicans are kind of scrambling right now does say a lot. I think this does give us a much better chance in the election. Just how much of a better chance, it remains to be seen. You know, we still gotta wait for if Kamala ends up, you know, being handed the torch like pretty much unanimously at the convention. We have to wait for her to pick her vice presidential running mate, and we'll see how it goes from there, I suppose.
Okay, so we got Debbie Wasserman Schultz as an insider here. This is perfect. Let's see what the insider, liberal, baby boomer, liberal,
Gosh,
Gen
she looks
X,
horrible.
liberal
In the race.
perspective is here.
So let me
I hope
ask you
Jen Perlman beats
first
her.
your reaction
She really does.
to his decision and his endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris.
Well, Chris, it's good to be with you. And I can tell you, as someone who supported President Biden as a candidate for president all the way back to the first presidential election that I could vote in as a college student in 1988, I'm not at all surprised that Joe Biden put country over party and country over self and
I guess
focused
that's the
on
correct take.
how we could make sure we could continue the historic legacy of his presidency, record 15 million jobs created, reductions in prescription drugs for our seniors, capping costs, out-of-pocket costs for seniors, reshoring American jobs through manufacturing computer chips, historic investments in climate change.
Just reading off of everything that Biden said when he announced to Democrats
24
that
count
he was
convicted
dropping out.
felon who was an adjudicated
Process, maybe many primaries and other things. And then there are those of us that selected her. And when you voted for him, you voted
It's not about,
for her.
about the president. It's not about Biden. It's about the people.
Yeah,
It's about the people, Al.
yeah,
I
no
don't
kidding.
care what
Yeah.
Joe Biden wants. Joe Biden doesn't speak for me. I voted for him out of obligation, not out of love, not out of passion, not out of true choice, but because I didn't want Donald Trump to get a second term as president.
Yeah.
Okay? So don't talk to me about Joe Biden's wishes. Joe Biden's endorsement is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Go.
Huh?
You have anything?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm pretty much in total agreement. Total agreement
Do you have
with
anything? I thought you maybe had something after that monologue.
you. Can you hear me? Shit.
For her. And why?
Yeah, I can hear you. There's just about a 10-second delay. About a 5 or 6 second delay.
That's frustrating. No, that's we can
Don't
continue.
we just go forward and deal with this as
Okay, here we
a
go. Here we go.
campaign of the nominee now being or probably will be vice president. Hurry
you
that
go.
we
See,
can
look at they just-
deal with this
Look at this.
as a campaign or probably will be vice president Harris and who
What?
she selects
Dude, fuck you.
versus Donald Trump. Do you worry
It's not
that we
probably
can get
Kamala.
into a divisive kind of process, arguing about how we do with Vice President Harris as the nominee?
Well, and Reverend Al, it's good to be with you as well. As someone who spent 6 years as the chair of our Democratic National Committee, I am confident that we will have a combination of both. Kamala Harris earned those 15 million votes right alongside President Biden when they ran for re-election this cycle and campaigned across the country and earned together the support of Democratic voters across the nation.
Yeah, I have
and
something to
the
say about
Democratic
that.
National Committee, along with our delegates at the convention, are the ones that ultimately confirm that nomination.
Yeah. So there are a lot of conservatives and Republicans that are actually concerned trolling about Biden dropping out and basically passing the torch to Kamala Harris by providing his endorsement. And I'd like to remind conservatives and Republicans that Democratic voters voted for a Biden-Harris ticket, not a Joe Biden by himself ticket. So the idea that this is like a process that is undemocratic, quote unquote, is a bit of a stretch. Because she's still on the ticket. For I mean, like it or not, like if they went into like an open convention, then and just put like a whole new ticket up front, which I mean, I wish that was the case. Like, I still don't think Kamala Harris is like the very best chance that we got, but like then you probably have an argument. But like he's just dropping out. He's just not running for re-election. He's handing it off to Kamala Harris, and now she's the forefront of the campaign. So yeah, they're just coping. It's just mega cope from the conservatives. Like they know that their goose is probably cooked unless they change their strategy entirely, because the only thing they got right now is like, oh well, is this even allowed? Is she even allowed to run? Is this even okay? Is the Constitution allowed? Yes, it does. So yeah, I think they're scrambling, and you'll love to see it.
I can't stand this idea that an open convention is undemocratic because Kamala Harris received 14, 15, whatever it was, million votes in the primary process.
When they didn't even have a primary. Yeah.
About the primary process.
Exactly.
You want to act as if the Democratic primary process is authentic. You haven't done your homework.
Right.
Go get to know the Democratic Party primary process and then come talk to me about that particular subject. Yeah. Secondly, do you want to argue about whether or not this is democratic as lawyers do? Mm-hmm. Or do you want to win as winners do? Do you want to be a fucking loser and just hand it to Kamala Harris? Or do you want to have a process whereby she actually at least looks like she earned it? Because right now, whether you like it or not, her image problem is that she did not earn this. It was given to her. She did not do well in the 2020 primary. She didn't even make it to the 2020 primaries.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, I'm in agreement with you. Honestly, like, I don't think she earned any of this. Like, even if they have to fake it at the convention, like, make it so where like there's this whole process, and like there's just a whole lot of discussion back and forth between multiple people, the governors, Pelosi, the Obamas, the Bidens, whatever, to pass the torch on, so to speak, and make sure that Kamala is the one, even if they have to fluff it up. Like to make it seem like, oh, maybe she did earn this. I mean, because she has been the vice president for the past 4 years. For better or for worse, like it or not, like that's what ended up happening. And it's the whole messaging and marketing thing again. They haven't exactly championed her accomplishments as vice president as well. What she's been getting done, or what she's been a figurehead on, or has been a part of. So. And not to mention, like, when it comes to the convention, like, people that we would prefer to have her in her place, like Whitmer or Newsom, have stated multiple times that they're not into it. They don't want to take the position. They're hesitant and reluctant to say that they're considering actually jumping into the position for campaigning as the Democratic candidate for president. So it would make the most sense. I mean, it is frustrating because it is like not very. I mean. We would much rather see someone else. Like an open convention would be a lot more exciting, rather than like everybody just falling in line behind Kamala Harris. But like, if they are going to do that, they better do a hell of a job fucking selling it. Otherwise, like, this is all a waste of time.
Well, I feel like listening to you just now helped me transcend being a prisoner of the moment, because what I'm realizing is that there is probably a 70% chance of the establishment getting behind Kamala, and this open convention is actually just for show.
Sure.
And she ends up getting the nomination, and it's more about who her VP is going to be.
Yes, I completely agree. Like, that's because ultimately now, as of now, since she is the head of the ticket, that's what this is going to come down to. Who is she going to pick for VP? I ran a poll on Twitter between Newsom, Whitmer, and J.B. Pritzker, and the fourth option was someone else. And so far, someone else has gotten the plurality of the vote. Because like I said, I don't think Whitmer or Newsom are into it. It wouldn't really matter much anyway. I mean, Whitmer, sure, because they need to win Michigan. But a name I heard floated around by leftists that I follow on YouTube or whatever is Josh Shapiro, who I believe is the governor of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And Pennsylvania has the most, the most electoral votes out of any of the swing states. So having him as the VP pick and have it a Harris Shapiro ticket makes the most sense. But we'll see. I mean, who knows which way they'll go. I mean, it's probably the smartest option, given that like Pennsylvania is very, very important. But we'll see. Yeah, ultimately the convention is going to come down to who she will pick for VP, and even if they have to make a show of it, you know, and like, along with the obligatory kissing Biden's ass the whole time, like thank you, like I mean, just make it so that way it's you know, worthwhile.
America does not have a king, nor will it ever have a king or a queen.
Yeah,
But
fingers crossed.
the Democratic Party certainly has a king right now, and his name is Barack Obama. So the question is, the entire left wants to know, is he just going to sit this out because that's what former presidents do? Or is he going to get involved and add his ethos, his ethical energy to this process? I really hope he does, because he got absolutely hooked up getting to be able to become president starting in his 40s. And that leads to an amazing post-presidential life. It's pretty cushy. So
Yeah.
I know where he lives in the summertime, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah, no, Biden gets to like
So I
keep.
hope, and I know it's actually Michelle's money because she got it from that book deal or whatever.
Yeah. Not to mention on top of all this, Biden gets to maintain his legacy. AOC for vice president. That's not a bad idea. I don't think it's going to happen, because I mean she's fine where she's at, and like they already have New York.
Dude, she and Biden. Okay, so let's talk about this. So the only people that were still like really loud about sticking with Biden were AOC and Bernie. So what did that get them?
Right.
Like, sticking with the establishment, are they going to have any? They don't have any leverage. Are they going to have any goodwill? It's either you have goodwill or leverage. Which one? And if you don't have either, then you have no political value.
Yeah, I think because I caught a little bit of the coverage on AOC's Instagram live stream, and it was mostly about if, because she was raising the alarm about the donors, the donor class, and the establishment wanting to not only force Biden out, but forced Kamala out as well. Kamala, however the fuck she actually says that she pronounces her name. And that's definitely very, very concerning because there would have been lawsuits lined up, in multiple states across the country, including the swing states needed to be won by the Democrats. Because I guess ballot access and making sure the ballot, like the ticket actually says Biden Harris or whatever the fuck. I forget exactly like the legal mechanisms about it. But her concern was just mostly about like if that happens. Because her concern wasn't so much as Biden dropping out of the race as much as it was those lawsuits and eventually it getting to the Supreme Court and Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito making the final decision on on the whole thing basically. But I mean, Bernie's going to campaign for Biden because I guess he just feels obligated to. But that was a concern levied by AOC that I was actually concerned about. Like, well, I mean, if Biden is to drop out, it better be Kamala next in line. And like I said today, I was super relieved to see that not only did he drop out, but he said like I'm endorsing Kamala Harris because that's literally like the smartest option like going forward for the Democratic Party to avoid the whole the potential of lawsuits and the chaos that would ensue and whatnot. All things considered says while I'm not happy about Kamala, I'm still a never Trumper. Amen. Same here.
The what was I gonna say?
AOC Kamala.
No, I'm looking at this guy Josh Shapiro. It sounds like he would be a great choice if they stick with Kamala.
Yeah.
I just hope there is a yeah, I mean Obama not weighing in. I'll see if it'll be interesting to see who else weighs in with endorsements and who sits it out, and if there is a process. Now, there's a lot of pressure on Jamie Harrison, who a few minutes ago was all about Obama staying the nominee. He's the DNC chair.
Obama
Jamie
staying
Harrison
nominee?
cannot handle this responsibility. No, he was saying that Jamie Harrison, the head of the DNC, wanted Biden to stay the nominee.
Gotcha.
And now he presumably is going to be responsible for organizing this open convention, and that's where I'm hoping that Obama steps in and actually takes over and organizes it himself.
Yeah,
because we need some sort of a way to I just don't think that the American public. I mean, this is a relieving moment right now, but I honestly don't know if urban and suburban America is going to show up for Kamala. Maybe I hope the conversation doesn't just become about her VP, because there's a lot more that we need to talk about than just her VP pick.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Obama himself, he actually released a statement regarding Biden's announcement, just saying that he's been one of America's most consequential presidents. So was a dear friend and partner of mine. I'm also reminded that he's a patriot of the highest order. Blah, 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 blah. He displayed great character, helped end the pandemic, created millions of jobs, blah, blah, blah. Put us away for 4 years of chaos, this and that. Basically, just stroking Joe Biden off. We will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. I believe that Joe Biden's vision of a generous, prosperous, and united America that provides opportunity for everyone will be on full display at the Democratic Convention in August. And I expect that every single one of us are prepared to carry that message of hope and progress forward into November and beyond. And then so doesn't really say much. It just gives thanks and praise to Joe Biden, but that's pretty much it. Nothing else on Obama saying. I mean, as to be expected,
I'm a little worried about this uncharted waters quote here. We will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. So there goes my idea. He's going to sit this one out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if he just like makes an appearance and just gives like a little speech of encouragement and enthusiasm. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes hands off. Like when it comes to the process, because if if for the past few weeks the Democrats, the big name ones, the figureheads that have been behind the push to get Biden out, I would assume that because this is what AOC's big concern was earlier in the week regarding like direction. Which direction the party is heading, like what the plan is, like an actual plan going forward. And this is like we're probably going to start seeing it play out now that like the big moves, the big chess pieces have been moved. Biden dropping out, endorsing Kamala Harris, the Clintons standing behind Harris. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said before, like the establishment starting to just rally behind Harris and make for a great convention, and just go from there. So like
it's just going to be about her VP. It's not
it's
not going to be challenged.
Right.
She's not going to be challenged.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if it sends,
I hope I'm wrong. I feel like it's like a therapeutic moment. I feel like I'm just coming to terms with the culture of the DNC.
Yeah.
Their history of decision making style, the way that they like to do things, and it's always play it safe. And the donors know her, and they'll have some sort of fun process. But my excitement over the course of this live stream about this event has gone like this, because I think the establishment is going to get behind Kamala. Obama's not going to officially endorse, but he's also, based on this statement, I have no hope. I've got maybe two ways of trying to get a message to him that I could try, but I don't know. I'm sure it would be one among many people trying to tell him to get involved.
Of course.
Like,
I mean,
you gotta get involved. Man.
Yeah, no, I mean, if anything, like it would be a massive morale boost. I mean, 'cause sure, just like speaking maybe for one fucking night at the convention, like that's not really going to be enough. Like unless it's like the best speech of the entire fucking convention. He would need to be like a whole lot more hands-on about like the convention in general, just like to give the like not just the whole party but the voter base or potential voters a boost in morale as well, because he still is like a rock star for the Democrats. But we'll see.
Yeah, man, I should have gotten into politics earlier on in life, so I had some political influence right now, because
I hear it.
I mean, he probably is not going to listen to anybody. He just, look, everybody's got their style.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's got their style, and he is sticking to the former presidents do not really get involved that much.
Yeah.
Like that's his style. And Bill Clinton was kind of that way. He did some charity work. He also did the Clinton Foundation, which is super corrupt. But and I think Obama wanted to avoid that stuff too, with the Clinton Foundation type of stuff.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna write their books and produce their content.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, he's a constitutional lawyer. It's absolutely perfect. He understands the concept of democracy in constitutional terms as well as anybody. So why not?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Creativity,
exactly.
man. There goes the creative avenue is not the avenue the DNC really ever takes.
Yeah, honestly, like Jimmy Carter should have just announced that he was running for a second term. Make this a lot more interesting.
Let's see. Do we want to check in with anybody here? I wanted to see this, actually. This was the Fox News coverage about she intends to earn and win nomination.
And I pick whoever she picks. I think that at this point, to have a vote at the convention on vice president would be a needless distraction, especially given the events of the last 3 or 4 weeks, culminating in the decision by the incumbent president to stand down.
All right. Thank you very much, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. It will be a
Thank you.
fascinating few days before August 19th, the start of the Democratic Convention in Chicago.
Yeah, and that too. Just the fact that it's still
We
a
are
month
starting
away.
a brand new hour of our special coverage following President Joe Biden's decision.
Reaction.
And it's the Biden-Harris federal.
So this guy's actually pretty funny because he's the one who asks all the really inappropriate questions at the press conferences.
Oh,
And
really?
he was the one who went like, hey, so let's say there's a nuke in the air coming in from Russia. What does the Defense Department do? I mean, call the First Lady?
Jesus fuck.
Federal Election Commission account basically went dark. It is now Harris for president, and the vice president has a statement. She is saying, with this selfless and patriotic act, President Biden is doing what he has done throughout his life of service, putting the American people and our country above everything else.
I mean, yeah.
As recently as last night, President Biden was digging in, according to a report in the New York Times that outlined President Biden's frustration with Speaker Pelosi and Barack Obama for not doing more to stop this Democratic mutiny against him. And President Biden justified staying in the race just last week. He was saying he initially wanted to be a bridge to another generation of Democrats, but he doesn't want to hand things off because the country is so polarized right now. The pressure on the president built and built and built after that shaky debate, which happened a lot earlier than normal because his campaign thought that was going to help them. It didn't. The president now says, it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. As we understand it, President Biden had a meeting with some key aides who made the pilgrimage to Rehoboth Beach last night, but he didn't actually tell the senior staff until 1:45 today that he had changed his mind and he was going to get out of the race. The public statement went out 1 minute later. And we've heard from this president there are three things that could make him rethink his decision to stay in the race. He says if he heard from the Almighty, if he had a medical emergency, or if somebody told him that there was a 0% chance he could beat Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
Exactly which of these things.
The fact that
suddenly came to him.
He had COVID
that made him change his mind.
Or has COVID, and that's probably actually influencing his decision too. Maybe it's getting worse. Maybe he's it's completely stripped away his confidence, and that is probably playing a much bigger role than any of us are really aware of. Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, like an 82-year-old getting COVID, even if you are vaccine boosted, it's not a picnic.
Mind, Martha?
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter.
Peter, let me just ask you, the Vice President Harris's campaign, according to Reuters, is making calls now and started calling Democratic delegates to secure their support ahead of the DNC. We're being told that the Tennessee Democratic Party has awarded her slate of 77 delegates. They're doing this one by one, we're told.
Already?
So just a logistics thing. The Biden campaign officials, do they shift over to be Harris campaign officials? Is it a mixing of it? Anybody just taking their hat and putting a Harris hat on? How is that working in Delaware?
Yeah, well, they do need to reprint all the Biden-Harris swag, but as we understand it from some reports that are coming out from the campaign call, nobody is being laid off. Everybody is continuing on to work to elect Kamala Harris as president. One thing that is probably super inconvenient now is that the campaign headquarters is in Wilmington, Delaware, and the candidate is not in Wilmington. Kamala Harris does not live in Wilmington, Delaware. But as we understand it, no major changes to the campaign yet.
All right, Peter, thank you. Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram has Capitol Hill reaction. Joins us now live. Hi, Chad.
Brett, good evening. Well, the switch out at the top of the ticket might not be so much about being able to defeat former President Trump, but saving seats down ballot. The Senate will be tough to hold. period, but a switch at the top could help Democrats with the House of Representatives. The current breakdown is 220 Republicans to 212 Democrats. Democrats just need to flip a handful of those seats. They think that House Republicans are.
And also on reintroducing Kamala, it seems like there's a notion that, they can take the current vice president and reintroduce her as a new person.
What the hell are you talking
what we
about?
just saw from President Trump, who
she's just the head of the ticket now. Like, that's it.
An assassination attempt just a week ago,
It's that simple.
and ran through a convention that was the best political convention that either party has ever hosted, with a very, very strong presence throughout the course of the week and a great speech on Thursday night. We had a fantastic rally just yesterday, a week following.
On the phone with some top campaign officials and congressional leaders. And they're all talking about a generational
I think
shift.
what I think is really funny
before
the nature
about like conservatives and Republicans in general is like that few hours of time, that grace period after a major event such as this, where all of them are like awkwardly awaiting their talking points to be handed down, because a lot of them really don't know exactly what to think about this. Yeah. And it's like, it's so goofy because like they none of them actually think for themselves. They just regurgitate whatever the fuck like pundits or anchors say and shit. Like that's amusing to me.
All right, we'll be going for about 45 minutes. Do you have anything else? I think maybe we should do, because we're going to do a show tomorrow, so we can get back to enjoying our Sundays. But my prediction it wasn't a prediction, it was a hopium, as they say these days, that Obama would get involved. Maybe he still will. There's still a chance of that happening.
Yeah.
But I really don't think Jamie Harrison, who I haven't heard a word about yet, but get to know him because he's going to be in charge of this mess.
Yeah.
I just think this is too tall an order for him. And Obama's got to step in. And the party has not demonstrated that they are capable of running a campaign anyway. So how are they going to run this process?
Right. I mean, honestly, like, it could be that, like, more like most of the players surrounding this are may take a more hands-off approach regarding all this and just let everything just grace on by, like the process, the convention and whatnot. Like, oh, this is like a foregone conclusion, so let's not make a show out of it or whatever. Like, we got Biden out of the way, because he was like the biggest concern. So like, let's just focus on who the VP is going to be, and then just like amp everybody up the way Democrats sure know how to amp people up. So we'll see. That's my final thoughts for on all this for today, at least.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow, but big news today. It is Sunday, July 21st. Remember where you were when you heard the news that Joe Biden, an historic dropout. I am hopeful that it will lead to a exciting and creative process by which we complete the ticket in a democratic way. And the DNC has some humility here, but having talked with you now, Stat Pat, I am hedging my expectations, and I think Kamala will be the foregone conclusion, and the conversation will be mostly about who's the VP going to be.
Right.
And I think Gavin and Gretchen are going to maybe not even going to get involved.
Yeah.
I hope Gavin does, but I don't know. Anyway,
we'll
know
see.
the heart, vote with the head. You don't get change in America by asking nicely. Thank you for watching.
Have a good night.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a wonderful rest.